Hello everyone, this is the Joy of Reading and welcome to a new episode of my Dante series. In the last episode, Dante and Virgil descended into the second circle. Here, the lustful are punished by being scattered non-stop and in every direction by a violent wind, just as they were scattered by passion and lust during their lives. Dante spots two sinners who manage to walk side by side despite the wind, and he wishes to talk to them. As soon as they come nearer, Dante asks them to stop and talk to him. So now we will hear the sinner's answer to Dante's plea. It's the first time we hear the voice of a sinner in the comedy. O animal grazioso e benigno, che visitando vai per l'aere perso, noi che tignemmo il mondo di sanguigno. Se fosse amico il re dell'universo, noi pregheremmo lui della tua pace, poiché hai pietà del nostro mal perverso. Di quel che udire e che parlar vi piace, noi udiremo e parleremo a voi, mentre che il vento come fa si tace. O you gracious and benevolent soul, who visit across the dark air us who stained the world with bloody red. If the King of the universe were friend to us, we would pray for him to give you peace, because you pity our perverse vice. Of what you like to hear and talk about, we shall hear and talk, while the wind, like now, is still. Okay, so this is not what we were expecting from someone who is going to be in hell forever. One would expect hatred, violence, something of the sort. But the woman, because we'll soon find out that she is a woman, answers kindly. She calls Dante gracious and benevolent. She even says that if God had been their friend, that is to say, if they hadn't been sinners, she and her companion would pray for Dante because he is showing mercy. But who is this woman? In the following verses, she tells her story. This is going to be somewhat difficult because there are a couple of verses I'll need to comment separately. So first of all, I'll read and comment, and then we'll go back and comment a couple of verses separately. Siede la terra dove nata fui, nella marina dove il Po discende, per aver pace coi seguaci sui. Amor, ch'al cor gentil ratto s'apprende, prese costui della bella persona che mi fu tolta, e il modo ancor m'offende. Amor ch'a nullo amato amar perdona, mi prese del costui piacer sì forte, che come vedi ancor non m'abbandona. Amor condusse noi ad una morte, Caina attende chi a vita ci spense. Queste parole da lor ci fuor porte. The land where I was born sits on the shore where the Po descends to rest together with its retinue. Love, which swiftly grips the noble heart, took this man because of the fair body taken from me, and the way still offends me. Love, which releases no beloved from loving back, saved me so strongly through his beauty, that, as you see, it has not abandoned me yet. Love led us to one death. Caina awaits him who took our lives. Those words were spoken by them. First of all, she says that she was born at the mouth of the river Po, which is in a region of northern Italy called Romagna. Then she adds that her companion first fell in love with her because of her looks which have been taken from her in a way that still offends her. And then she explains that she fell in love with him too because of his looks, and that love led the two of them to a common death. They died together. Eventually, she says that the person who took their lives is going to end up in the Caina. Caina is the deepest part of hell next to Satan, where the worst sinners are kept, including the ones who betrayed their families and homeland. The lady doesn't say anything really revealing, like her name or her companion's name We will find out later who she is. But now let's look closer at a couple of verses. First, amor ch'al cor gentil ratto s'apprende. Let's look at the word gentil. In today's Italian it means gentle or kind, but at Dante's time it meant noble. Gentile was also the term used to indicate aristocrats, noblemen. Of course, here Dante is not speaking about the aristocrats' hearts. Still, the expression cor gentil means noble heart more than just kind heart. And now the super hyper Dante's line. Amor che nullo amato amar perdona. Literally, love which releases no beloved from loving back. But I have to say, in all modesty, I think it sounds better in Italian. Amor che nullo amato amar perdona. Dante manages to use the root love in 3 different ways. There is the substantive love and the verb to love, which is used both in the infinitive and in the participle form, and all of them in one line, which must have 11 syllables and fit into a complex rhyme scheme. So, great job. We still don't know who the woman is, but Dante is going to fill the gap. Quand'io intesi quell'anime offense, chinai il viso, e tanto il tenni basso, finché il poeta mi disse, che pense? Quando risposi cominciai, oh lasso, quanti dolci pensier, quanto disio, menò costoro al doloroso passo. Poi mi rivolsi a loro e parlai io, e cominciai, Francesca, i tuoi martiri a lagrimar mi fanno tristo e pio. Ma dimmi, al tempo dei dolci sospiri, a che e come concedette amore che conosceste i dubbiosi disiri? As I heard those troubled souls, I bowed my head and held it down so long that the poet asked me, What are you thinking? When I answered, I began, Alas, how many sweet thoughts, how much longing led them to the painful pass. Then I turned to them and spoke myself, and I began, Francesca, your tribulations make me weep with sadness and compassion. But tell me, at the time of the sweet sighs, why and how did love allow you to know the uncertain desires? So, Dante is sort of shocked by the woman's words, and he bows his head and he stays like that so long that Virgil asks him whether he's okay. And then he calls the woman simply by her first name, Francesca. He doesn't add any more details now, and he is not going to add any more details later in the canto. Probably because when he wrote the comedy, he didn't need to say more to make the public recognize her, because her story was likely well known. It's like a woman said today, I was born in England, I married a prince and died in a car accident, and Dante called her Diana. He wouldn't need to add the surname and everything else, the people would get it. So Dante confesses to Francesca that he is very touched by her sufferings, and then he asks a very specific question. How did Francesca and her companion fall in love? And her companion hasn't spoken a single word yet, although he is there. He has been there all the time. In the next episode, we'll find out who Francesca is. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please remember to follow my channel and my Facebook page, also called The Joy of Reading. Since the next episode is going to be recorded in 2021, I wish you a happy new year. I hope the new year is going to be better than this one, which is actually no big deal. Have a nice evening.